See now, work ethic in general is one of my biggest strong suits as a sales leader. You see, I say strong suit, but also one of my weakest points as well. As sales trainers, we always fail to recognize individuals have different trains of thought. And with those thought patterns, we tend to believe that we know them and understand them because we've lived them before, although we really haven't. You see, we have to restructure our environments in order to really get on the same level as our employees or become on the same level as our way of thinking. You see, Google, Zappos, they've all created a working environment that people want to be in. People want to come to work. They enjoy work. See, they reinvigorated, they reinvented the workplace. There's a lot of other workplaces, though, that are just those really gray walls, the cloth cubicles, and people just aren't excited anymore to want to get ahead. And people are always asking, well, what more is there? The environments that I like to create are innovative and they're creative, and there's something that people say, you know, I'm proud to work there. Let me send a picture to my friend of where I work. I don't know many people that always take pictures of where they are and say, hey, here's where I work. I'm so proud of it. Unless you work on the ocean, right, or the beach. Let's think about something. We have to reshape our organization to empower our work ethics. Now, moving forward, what does work ethic actually look like? Look at your organization overall. Is everybody working 30 hours? Are they working 40 hours? And if they say that they work 40, are they really working 33? Are they really working 37? There was actually many studies done, and don't quote me on who they're from, but I will get it to you and I will put it in writing. But they said the average 40-hour work week, people actually show up to work for 37 hours. And they take longer lunches, they leave, they clock in later, right? They sit there, they do their own work. And out of a 37-hour work week, they're only really getting 21 to 22 hours worth of work done in a full-time position. Now, why is that? How do we motivate ourselves? How does the workplace motivate you? How do you motivate yourself if you're self-employed? If you're a director and or executive at a highfalutin company and or a individual sole proprietorship LLC, well, what are you doing to really motivate and reinvigorate yourself? Are you showing up to work in jeans? Are you showing up to work in shorts and sneakers? If that's your atmosphere, excellent. Roll with it. Roll with it. Although, are you letting yourself be too relaxed that you think that you're on a state of Sunday and everybody's just rolling by? See, my friend owns a computer networking company, and inside his computer networking company, it's hard to see ourselves. You see, we think of factors, right? Now he says, well, I want everyone to be relaxed because, you know, they're coding all day on the keyboard. I said, yeah. And I said, and the people at Disney World, I said, they're doing their job all day too. I said, you don't think they get tired? You don't think they just want to dress normal? They can't. We have to dress our part. You see, you wouldn't have the experience if you didn't, right? You wouldn't be able to see Mickey Mouse if he just looked like a regular guy in jeans and a t-shirt, right? It wouldn't make any sense. Dress up. You got to dress your part. But if your part is the jeans and a t-shirt and that's the relaxed environment that you want, again, roll with it. But you got to paint the picture for your employees and your staff and yourself that, you know what, here is work. How are you going to differentiate work from play and play from home? These are the factors that we need to think of. You see, it's hard to see ourselves. It's really hard to look at the cameras at work and say, am I working all day? And the truth is, we always find ways to say that we're working, but we're really not. We take too long to read the email, right? We have a report to do that we keep blowing off. We pass it off. We go pick up lunch instead of having it delivered. You see, lately, in our country alone, we have become very lazy and innately confused. Because we always want to live that American dream, but no one wants to work for it. You see, many people chase it, but few people will ever live it. Now, moving forward, how does this really factor in, right? Well, we have money, career advancement, reputation, accolades, right? Here's what we get from work ethic. Well, career advancement. If I work hard, I'm going to have career advancement. If I work hard, I'm going to have the money. If I work hard, I'm going to have reputation, accolades. But I don't want to work hard. I want that stuff now, then I'll work hard. Here's the problem with work ethics, right? Everybody says, I'll work harder if they give me a promotion. I'll work harder when they pay me more. I'll work harder when they give me accolades for what I do or they recognize my work. But then people only work this much of a workday, right? Everybody puts in very, very small steps, very small increments, right? Yeah, small increments, right? And drops of water will cast a hole through a stone. Yeah, but you'll be dead by then. Okay? Well, let's think about this. Career advancement. Where do you want to go? Where are you now? How much more can you be doing in order to get there? You see, with my staff, I recognize them and I see them all the time. I know who's doing more and I know who's doing less. But they all look at me and they expect me to pay them more for something that they're not even working for, right? I have my sales staff, I asked them one day, I said, I want you to write down exactly what you want, exactly what you expect to get. Where do you want to be in life? Everybody, 98% of them, 98% of my sales staff said, I want to be a 6-figure paid guy, which was awesome. I was like, yeah. But then I read, as a manager. I'm like, oh my God, so you want to make 6 figures as a manager? You haven't even made 6 figures as a salesperson yet. I said, how are you going to get from A to B? You're working less than 40 hours a week. You want to be a manager making 100 grand. I love everybody, but the 40-hour work week is gone. It really is. And I hate to say it to all of you, and I know people want to say, no, it's not. You can get as much done as you want to. Fine, but you still won't be making the money that you want. Everyone thinks $100,000 a year plus is so easy. It is not. The education behind it, the work ethic behind it, how much that you have to do. It is a nice number to make and over, but you have to put in your time. You can't just say, I'm going to work 37 hours, I'm going to work 40 hours, I'm going to ring the bell at 9 and go home at 5, and then I'll be fine, I'll be rocking it out. And then knock on your boss's door and say, how come my checks aren't where they're supposed to be? I'm supposed to be making 100 grand by now. And your boss is going to say, I was here at 9 or 10 o'clock last night. Where were you? If you work harder than your boss and you're only working 40 hours a week, then we definitely have to talk. If you're the person that's putting in 50, 60 hours, well, you know what? Good for you, because then that's a real 40-hour work week. That means that 50-hour week, you're probably only working 40. Think about it. How many hours can you cut out of the day that are just nonsense, right? Sometimes we blow things off all day, then we say, oh God, I gotta get this done. Then we stay later at work. If you're really working 50 to 60 hours under true hours, you will be making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year if you're good at what you do. And you'll be good at what you do if you listen to everything that we're discussing through all of the different modules. More importantly, if you want any of these, just remember, it's the work that you put in now that will pay off later. It's not working hard later to get the payoff now. Hope that makes sense. Work ethics is more though. Environment, conditions we work in, the attitudes, the values, the culture of the organization. Everybody always says to me, yup, Tobias is up there, drink another Red Bull, drink the Kool-Aid, and you're right. As long as they're talking about you, that means you're important. That means you got something going on. If my staff didn't say anything, well then I wouldn't be doing my job. If half of my staff didn't hate me this much, I wouldn't be doing my job. See, sometimes you have to step on some hands that you don't want to get to where you need to be. Not in a negative way, but a positive way. You see, we tend to hire our friends. I have a lot of friends working for me, and it's really, really hard to interact with them. It's hard to come down on them. It's hard to tell them what to do or to get them on the same page. But you see, the environment that you make is going to dictate the results. If you work in a results-oriented organization where everybody's always focused on who can do more, well then you're going to be a very, very successful company. If you're just focused on making people happy all the time, well, you're not going to be a very, very good result-oriented company. Think about it. If I want to make all my friends happy inside my organization, pat them on the back, you're doing such a good job, this guy just cost me $1,000 this week, it's not going to work. You have to treat everybody the same, equally. You have to give somebody accolades when they do good, and then you have to scold them when they don't do good. When I say scold, I don't mean bring out the whip. I mean make it apparent and teach them how to correct it so next time they don't make the same mistake, but teach the rest of the staff as well. See, I myself, I like telling my staff all the figures. I tell them the good, bad, and the ugly because I consider them a sale. My staff needs to know when we're profitable. They need to know when we're at a loss. They need to know when we have good leads and bad leads and what's happening with systems. You see, if you're not transparent, you'll lose the trust. Your team has to trust you. So I'm very transparent with them. I give them a phenomenal work environment. The conditions are always sublime. And if there's something that they want, I will ask them. I will buy them lunch. I will do whatever it takes. A happy employee is a productive employee. But then I also like to teach them the sales and the leadership courses and the customer service and the goals and how to become better. See, we have to measure ourselves in segments, everybody, right? It's the culture of my organization. Again, drinking the Kool-Aid. My team, I want to be successful. I want my whole team making over $100,000, not just one of them. You see, if everybody makes that money, everybody's happy together, and then they just want the next level. Then from 100, we're going to 2. From 2, we're going to 3. And that's how we need to work. We need to focus on the direction. That direction is up. More importantly, look at the ethics in Japan. Japan is one of the most productive nations in the world. For example, historical Japanese work ethic stemmed from their national culture to contribute to the idea of everything and everyone has a place and purpose. The idea of a well-ordered society driving productivity and harmony. This led to extended periods of economic and technological progress in the past centuries. But somewhere along the way, it became about accelerating the pace. You see, they didn't put the foot on the gas, right? Who wants to go 50 when you can go 70? Who wants to go 70 when you go 80 or 90 or 100? When's enough? It's not. That's why you got to keep pressing. Look at the past 100 years, everything that we have developed. Look at everything. Look at the supercomputer all the way back in the 1920s. Thing was the size of a building. Now, you carry it in the palm of your hand. The palm of your hand. Think about this. Think about where we were to where we are now and where we can be. If you want to be part of this, you need to associate yourself and develop different concepts. Picture yourself 5 years from now in your company 5 years from now. Where do you see yourself? Doing the same things? Then you're crazy. You need to understand this, that everybody else is realizing that we need to speed ahead, that we need to sprint that marathon, that it is possible to sprint the marathon, that it is possible for any human being, including yourself and me, to do anything that we set out to accomplish. Theories have proven right. So many companies are making so much money off of these ingenious ideas that people once thought another individual was crazy for. Albert Einstein was deemed insane, but look at NASA. They're based off his theories. A lot of the stuff that we use today, refrigeration, is based off of Einstein's theories. The crazy, the inevitable, the ingenious are all the same. You yourself, you have to think outside of the box. And that's everything to do with work ethic. Because modern work ethic in Japan has led to the idea of working even more hours, to the extent that there's even a word for the most extreme outcome. Karoshi, death from overwork. The goal of working for a better future and forward-driving economy has become an illusion. This is no longer the cyclical renewal, but it's one, Saturn Titan eating his children, strengthened in the present, at risk of punishing the future. What do they mean by this is this. Japan has some of the best work ethics in the world. You see, they have devised their nation to say, you know what, we can't be the bottom, we got to be the top. We always have to be progressing. We have to do more in order to get more. Michael Jordan, for instance, right? During the off season, what was he doing? He was making hundreds of three-point shots, right? He was saying, you know what, I got to go stand at the foul line. I got to go make these 2-pointers. I have to do whatever I have to do to stay the best and to be the best. Because if I'm doing more than the other guy, well, that means I'm doing more than the other guy. If you're not marketing more than your competitor, well, then your competitor is going to do just as much as you. The only thing you can get by on is your customer service. You need an edge. You need to market more. You need to set yourself out there more. If you're a salesman on the street and there's another salesman selling the same product, if he's pounding the pavement more, well, he's going to be knocking on the doors before you do. Yeah, you may pick up some slackers, but he's getting all the laydowns. You see, you have to make more calls if you're in telesales because somebody else is. Somebody else is. Now, Jeffrey, the CEO of GE, right? If you look at his work ethic, that guy works 100 hours a week. People say, well, I don't want to work that much. Then don't. You're going to get left behind other people that do. I'm not telling you to go out there and go work 100 hours. I'm telling you just to do more than what you're doing right now. And if you still want this and you want this, then that's fine too. I appreciate you. And you should appreciate yourself because some of us have different values on things. I'm a workaholic. I know that. Some of my staff, they're not. But you know what? When they're here, they will become workaholics because in the hours that you work, you need to work. The hours that you play, go play. Shut off your phone from work, but shut off your phone from home. We can't mix the two. Once we do, that's where it's becoming that multi-society that's leaving other countries and other salespeople ahead of us, other CEOs, other executives. Everybody's getting ahead of us because they're doing more. They realize that time is so precious. The sands in that jar are passing by. You need to do what you can now. More importantly, with that view of work ethic, right, focused on driving longer hours of work, we should at least admit this is hazardous to one's health. I understand that, right? More so, per my point, my prior piece, the model of more hours does not necessarily lead to more results in the world of knowledge work. This again points back to saying if you're going to work, work. If you work 40 hours, you can get 100 hours of work done within 40 hours. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. If you just get rid of all the noise. Don't listen to all the negativity around you. Don't listen to the guy at the water cooler who's telling you about the traffic on the way to work. Who cares? It was traffic on the way to work. You're not in it right now, so shut up, put your head down, let's go. Fire the Pistons, man, right? Who cares if you're in telesales with that one guy, oh man, you would have heard this person on the phone. Who cares? Move on with your life. We need to teach our employees, we need to teach ourselves better respect for the working hours in which we have during the day. To the end, we need a change in how organizations encourage work ethic. How can we reward for work ethic? Well, I say, look at the man hours, then look at the accomplishments out of the man hours. If you have 10 people inside of a department, go reward the 1 or 2 that are doing more than everybody else. Make them shine, make it apparent. Have the board up there saying, we had 10 presentations done by Harry. We had 15 presentations done by Elisa. Who's better of the two? We had 15 presentations done. We had 5 closed. We had 10 done. We had 7 closed. Who's better using their time? Who's better at sales? Who's getting this done? Who's getting that done? How many reports did you do? How many pages did you code? All right? How many new landing pages did you develop for a new marketing SEO platform? We need to measure these things and put people in a highlight. You need to give them kudos. You need to give people accolades for what they do. That's another way to drive work ethic. If you give somebody accolades on a subject, well, they're going to feel what? Inspired and invigorated and better than everybody else. And it's exactly what they are. And you should applaud them. More importantly, work ethic, supportive environment for information workers, right? We have relationship, we have knowledge, we have process, and we have control. How do all these boxes fit in between? Where relationships with our knowledge are controlled, then our process, right? Supportive environment for information workers. Well, our relationship with everybody, we have to get to know everybody one by one. You have to understand what they're going through as human beings. We have to be supportive for them. You have to be their parents. You have to be their psychologist. You just got to be there for an ear to listen sometimes. The knowledge. We have to teach everybody what they're doing. People don't know. Sometimes we say, just get it done. I hate managers like this. I went through so many different sales managers that it's unbelievable where they just expect somebody to get on the phone and or to go out to the street and make a presentation, and these poor workers are just saying, I don't know what the hell I'm doing right now. Yes, I was in sales before, but I never sold your product. Then companies are spending millions upon millions of dollars every single year independently to go train their sales force, but they forget that they have to train the sales managers in order to do the metrics on top of the sales force, right? So we need to have metrics on the sales managers in order to analyze their workers, right? And or just managers, executives in general, or your staff. We need to have the knowledge. We need to have the metrics on that. We need to teach them all about the product and the processes. We need to teach them what we do. And don't be scared they're going to take over your job, because if you do and you are scared, my God, well then you're doubting yourself. And if they are capable of that, well, guess what? It's a process and it's a control. If they want to go start their own, Good for them. That means you hired right. That means that person works for you, they're getting business. Business is getting done. You just offer more money and then you bring them in. You bring them in, you get them to partner on a different spin-off of your institution. That means you're doing your job right. But if you don't teach them enough in order to do that, you know what you're doing? Destroying your own company. So that never made sense to me. Knowledge, transparency, decentralized accountability, and changing workflows. Here's how you spin the work ethic, right? We need to give people transparency. Just like I told you, I'm very transparent with all of my numbers to my salespeople, whether I'm profitable, whether I'm taking losses, whether it's a good lead vendor or a bad lead vendor, if I'm in a good mood or a bad mood. You have to be transparent with everybody in order to get them to trust you to develop that ethics. Decentralized accountability. You need to hold everybody accountable, right? You can't just say one person's accountable. Everybody has to be accountable for their position. We have to give them ratings on their position. You have to do this weekly, monthly. You have to let everybody know where they stand, or else they're going to go week after week and just say, well, I don't know why you fired me. I didn't know that you wanted more from me. Got to get accountability. Changing the workflows. You have to change the way things are done. You have to spur up the work environment. I love to do it. I'll take my verification team, I'll make them fronters, take fronters, get them to do a little bit of verification, get them to do a little sales, right? Get your salespeople doing different work, get your salespeople training, managing, doing videos to help others inside their industry, right? Going out and going to train other rooms, learning underwriting. You have to change your workflows, change the way your processes are done. This way you're sparking invigoration. More importantly, here's one thing. TD Bank, right? They're open on Sundays. Did the staff like this? No, I don't think so. Staff was like, I'm not working on Sunday. But guess what happened, right? TD Bank, internal transparency on a key decision. Social task. Look, decide. Business opened an additional workday, which was Sunday, shared across an employee base. Taking all the input, good and bad. In doing so, there was what? Catharsis. There was open debate and distributed problem solving. There was shared value created in a mindset of improving customer service. Now, what banks open on Sunday? TD. Well, if you don't have time on Saturday, go to TD on Sunday. All of a sudden, they opened a valued network. They improved the transparency to their clientele. They improved the transparency to their employees to say, hey, guess what? Listen, here's what's going to happen. If we're open, we're going to get more business. See, changing the process, right, it encourages people to try it out. And says, you know what, we're going to have our edge. We're going to have our niche if we do this, everybody. You know, Bank of America, Washington Mutual, they're going to have nothing on us if we can open on Sundays. Everybody's going to want to follow in our footsteps, but we're going to be first in the market. We're going to get people to switch over their accounts over to us. And guess what? It worked. It worked. TD Bank, it worked. They had enormous transparency in their numbers when they switched to opening on Sundays. More importantly, people will try it out, as well as others, to evolve and to refine a way of doing the other steps, right? People will evolve if you change your processes. People will understand them. People will go ahead with them if you explain to them why. Don't just say, hey, we're going to open on Sunday, you're going to have to work. People are going to be like, why? I don't want to work on Sunday. Give it a transparency. Well, we're going to grow the company. It's going to be better for you and better for everybody. More business, right? Means more money in the long run. Means we'll maybe be able to give out better bonuses, this, that, and the other, right? Be transparent with all of your clients and your employees. Encourage more people, right? Advocacy, right? Try it out. Use and proof. Gauges, social proof, familiar to them, part of their day, right? Well, that's what it's doing, right? You're encouraging people, you're gauging them, you're showing them the social proof. TD Bank said, here is social proof that it's working. We have more people coming. Look how busy we are on Sundays. You're giving everybody proof. Just tell them, try it out. Try it out. It's going to become part of their normal day then. Now, the leading edge. They're looking for social proof that exists or works. But the end goal here is to make it a normal part of their daily work or something really familiar to them. Have different tasks. At 3 o'clock, tell everybody, stop what you're doing, and then we're going to do a team exercise. Do it every Wednesday at 3 o'clock. Do it every Thursday at 3 o'clock. Pick a time, pick a day. Do a team exercise to get everybody on the same page. It's going to be a leading edge for you. Get everybody involved in a problem that the company's having and you need a solution. Let everybody know. Say, we need to increase our customer base by 10%. We want everybody to take an hour or 20 minutes out of their day, whatever you guys can, take, and say, okay, if we had to increase our bottom line by 10%, what would you do? How can you make our business better? What would you do to help us? What would you do inside this situation? And ask everybody for their feedback. And then go through it. Because guess what? You may have a knowledge worker in there that does have a solution or has the right path to a solution. Don't ever think you know it all. And by asking your employees how to get from X to Z, guess what's going to happen? You're going to make them feel good. You're going to make them seem intelligent and knowledgeable, as they are, because they're valued, because they work for your organization for a reason. Give them a reason to help you. They're part of you, but they're also going to become unified with the organization's mission. And guess what? If you do choose their process, let them help you out and guide the team. Because somebody that may be that bank teller, maybe that new executive that you never knew, that just never had the shot. I know more people that didn't graduate through college that are some of the best knowledge workers I've ever come across and best entrepreneurs than some of my friends who did graduate with master degrees. Now, I'm not saying this to shoot anybody down. I'm saying it because master degrees, trust me when I say master degrees, doctorates, everything, all worth everything. But sometimes some people don't have the chance, or they never took the chance because they never had somebody to inspire them. But they have these great minds behind them. You need to give everybody a chance and learn from everybody, because even the smallest factor can lead to a huge decision and derivative for you and your company and or yourself and your proprietorship. Emphasize visibility, activity, people, information. Always have the numbers out. Show everybody the numbers. Show everybody the social proof. Show everybody what's going on inside your company. Show everybody who's the best, who's not producing where they should be. If you make everything visible, you're going to be a success. Your people, you have to let them shine. Activities, got to show their activities. Information, got to let them in on the key information. Official recognition, we have to. Look at existing processes and departments and its impacts. The emphasis is not just on reuse, but widening the view, widening the acceptability and the simplicity of any project and or task and or solution for great work ethic environment. See, the final step is to examine ownership in terms of the existing organizational structure. This tends to be challenging because the established power structure in leadership is an organization. Don't ever keep yourself up here. Keep yourself on the lines, on the front line with all your guys. They're going to respect you more. Don't hold the light bulb over their head and say that you're better than them, because you're not. You're not. You're in a different position. Let them help you get to where you want to be, but you have to help them get to where they want to be. And in turn, you'll have a successful working environment. You'll have successful work ethics inside your organization. Now, we also start questioning the nature of the role of control inside of an organization. Motivation is an entirely different aspect, which mechanical view of the industrial age plays no part. The influencer in one community may not have the same influence in another. States depend on the speaker. Now, what I mean by that is your state. The state of mind of your staff is going to depend upon you. Your work ethic of your company is going to depend upon you. If you don't work the hours that you preach, well, don't expect anybody else to. If you're not there with your head down, don't expect anybody else to be there with their head down. If you're not showing them that you can shine, don't expect anybody else to shine. Expect everybody else to look elsewhere and or complain about where you are. In closing, we come from what we describe work ethic to what it could look like and how it may fit into a new mode of work. Always give 100% at work. Here's a little calendar. You may not be able to see it, but it says Monday 12%, Tuesday 23%, Wednesday 40%, Thursday 20%, Friday 5%. That's the normal work ethic of the common U.S. worker. And I say that because we tend to start off slow. We get a little more inspired. Wednesday, we're like, all right, midweek, let's work a little harder, get everything done. And then, Thursday goes back to where Tuesday was. And then Friday, we go all the way down and we say, we're going home.